Hi, this is Robert with Skinny Trails, and I wanted to do a video on different alternatives if you have a paleo or ketogenic type diet. It's a little difficult. All the stuff out there seems to be a little more centered around high carbs, high sugars, and I wanted to give some options, just alternative type methods for things that I've been looking at. Okay, so regular backpacking food. Most of it, the energy is going to come from sugars and carbs. Ketogenic backpacking food, most of the energy is going to come from healthy fats. The common non-keto backpacking options would be like the ready-to-eat stuff, like jerky, fruit roll-ups. Also, you might see things like the mac and cheese or Knorr, and great options, inexpensive for non-keto type backpacking options. Also, you'll run into things freeze-dried, like pre-made pouches, backpacker pantry, mountain house, those type of things, and freeze-dried fruit, apples, bananas, things like that. Yeah, as far as keto-friendly type dehydrated foods that are ready to eat, so jerky is going to be one of the most common. Beef, pork, salmon, turkey, shrimp, squid, a whole bunch of them out there. Most of the store-bought jerky is going to be full of sugar. Yeah, a couple that I found that weren't so bad. The Caveman chicken jerky, spicy barbecue. This one here, Chomps. It's a grass-fed beef stick. I like this one a lot. It's also high fat content and no sugar content. It has no added sugar, so that's good. And also Epic chicken sriracha. You can also find a lot of no sugar jerkies online. I'm going to put a link down below that'll have a list of quite a few. Problem with that, the ones online, they're obviously going to be a little more expensive. They're kind of these micro organizations, little cottage industry jerky providers. But they do have some that are exactly what I'm looking for in the no sugar and flavor and taste and all that. They have pretty good varieties. Also going to put a link of a blog that a guy does that talks about all the better jerkies as far as low sugar content. He also does a good job of rating them and has the ingredients and nutrition facts on all of them. So both those links will be down below. With the online, my biggest issue was cost, because you either had to buy a whole bunch, or if you didn't buy a whole bunch, you had to pay a lot, or you had to pay a lot in shipping. I understand why they do that, but I just found it a little difficult to pay that much for some of the jerkies. And then it comes to making your own. There's a ton of recipes. I know the first time I made jerky, I didn't really do anything at all. I think I added salt and pepper. I haven't made jerky in years, because every time I go out to purchase the meat, it was expensive. But now, if it's an option between buying online jerky or making it myself, the cost is kind of similar. And so that might be an option. Also, for a little variety, dehydrated kale chips and cauliflower popcorn. The kale chips, you can make it yourself, you can buy it. There's enough out there now that you can buy it just about anywhere, and it's getting a little more reasonable in price. Cauliflower popcorn, I haven't seen it anywhere for sale, but it's really tasty, very lightweight. Doesn't have a lot of fat or anything like that. It's more for a little bit of variety to pep your meals up a little more, keep you from getting bored of eating the same thing all the time, and doesn't weigh much, and probably a little extra nutrition in areas that you might not be getting from some of the other things. Dehydrated soups, chilies, and meals, very hard to find keto friendly, but you can make your own easily using bouillon or bone broth, dehydrated vegetables, some healthy fats such as olive oil. So you can come up with your own thing. One of the things that I found this Lono Life, L-O-N-O Life, grass-fed beef bone broth. And it comes, you can get it in little Keurig cups, where you put it in the Keurig machine, it'll make a cup of beef broth. But you can also get it in these little packets. And so I got these, I'll be taking these with me. I got this on Amazon. It said you could find it at some of the stores on their websites, but I couldn't find it in any stores. I could find the Keurig cups in several stores like Sprouts, Whole Foods, things like that. But It wouldn't help much backpacking. But I'm pretty excited about that, taking that, some dehydrated or freeze-dried vegetables, and I'm taking some healthy fats with me, so I think I'll be able to have a cup of something that I think will be enjoyable and have a little bit of substance, and yeah, I'm going to enjoy that in the field. Yeah, as far as pre-packaged meals, like the Mountain House type meals, I absolutely love Mountain House. I think they do a good job of putting together a product that's easy and neat and friendly, especially if you've eaten them recently compared to 10, 20 years ago. They've really come a long way in the way they package them and the way they rehydrate, and they're just very good. Problem is, they're geared more for high carb, high sugar type foods. A couple of them that I may still take along would be the eggs, but their eggs I still think use 4 grams of sugar, but they are just way too convenient. If I'm going to be going on a long distance trip, I will take several of those because they're quick and easy, and I know I'll be putting in the miles to where 4 grams of sugar isn't going to throw me out of ketosis. But the prepackaged meals, you know, some of the ones that you may see out there: Backpacker's Pantry, Mountain House, Mary Jones Farms, Alpine Air, Outdoor Herbivore, and Packit-Gourmet. Although I like all these companies, I was a little disappointed in what they had to offer. There's one called Palio Meals to Go. They seem to be trying a little harder, but they still do have a little bit of sugar in their stuff also, and so I probably will steer clear of that and probably make a lot of my own. So yeah, I would recommend, if you do want to go that route and see what they do have to offer, because they all do have something that's fairly low in sugar, so whatever your limit is for that, you can go online at REI or Amazon, and both those places have really good nutritious facts and ingredient lists, and so you kind of look, and there are a handful that I think you'd be happy with. So another option is just to make your own prepackaged freeze-dried meals, and to do that, Augustin Farms as well as Mountain House, they both sell items such as beef chunks, chicken breast chunks, broccoli, jack, mozzarella cheese, things like that. And then Packit-Gourmet will sell the Mountain House style bags with the gusseted bottom and the Ziploc top, and they'll allow you to pour boiling water into them, so you can basically make your own, putting in it what you like. Now, one thing to take into consideration, neither Augustin Farms or Mountain House, neither of them sell individually sized keto-friendly stuff, so it can get kind of pricey. They sell stuff in like these giant cans. If you're a prepper, perfect. If you have a lot of friends, great. Plan a trip, divide the cost of the product. Also, be aware that Augustin Farms sells both dehydrated as well as freeze-dried items. And so they both have their purpose. They both are good, but you just want to know what you're purchasing. If you intend to take them out backpacking, you want them to rehydrate quickly, then you want to choose the freeze-dried. That's not a concern. Dehydrated is a good option. Takes a little bit longer to rehydrate, less volume, a little bit less expensive usually for the amount that you get in a can. And so just keep it in mind when you're buying it. Don't accidentally buy the wrong one. So some not so light items. There's quite a few things that you can choose from that are keto friendly or paleo friendly, but they're not necessarily as light as some of the freeze-dried or dehydrated products are. Yeah, this is an item that I found that I like: coconut wraps and turmeric coconut wraps. If you like taking tortillas into the backcountry, these are a good option for tortillas that are low carbs, low sugar. They also are vegan, paleo, raw, organic friendly. So they're kind of neat. They come in these squares about this size, a little thinner than tortillas, and you'd use them just like you'd use a tortilla for anything. A little pricey for 5. It was $6, but they don't require refrigeration. Matter of fact, you don't want to refrigerate them because in the refrigerator they become a little more brittle. So just basically They'll ship them to you at room temperature, and you take them out in the field at room temperature, and they're going to be good. Also, bacon's a good option. They do have the fully cooked packaged bacon, and this doesn't require refrigeration until you open it. This particular one here comes 10 slices, and so that's a good option. I found this, I was excited about this, and then I kept looking at the ingredients. Pepperoni. I used to eat a lot of pepperoni and salami and stuff like that. Pepperoni, salami, summer sausage, good options in that they're high in fat content. Problem is some of them, like this particular one, has dextrose instead of sugar. So even though it doesn't, on the nutrition label, it doesn't say sugar, in the ingredients it does have dextrose, which is, as far as the glycemic index, it's as high as sugar. And so that, I'll be avoiding that and looking for other options in pepperoni and salami that are where they don't use sugar, then they don't use anything that's going to have a high glycemic index. Yeah, boiling eggs. Boiled eggs, especially little pre-packaged ones, good option, but you got to take into consideration if they're not refrigerated. They're usually, for me, a first day item, but it is something that's really fits into the keto diet, even though it's very low in fat. But as long as you're adding healthy fats to it, it's a good option. Okay, another good option would be chicken or tuna in the single-serve pouch or cans. I'd recommend the pouches. Cans get a little heavy. But I'm sure you've seen them, pouches like this. They're kind of handy. The only drawback is a lot of product to pack out. But you can do that with cans or any way that you're hauling meat in. There's different things that you might want to take into consideration. There's several different varieties. One thing you want to keep in mind is almost all these are going to be very high in protein but very little fat, and so you usually want to supplement them with some kind of healthy fat, such as coconut oil, olive oil, cheese. Another thing you'd want to take into consideration is the mercury concern, especially if you're through hiking or you're going to be consuming a lot of tuna or a lot of fish product. Things you'd want to look for. The good variety of tuna would be something like the Chunk Light, or it's also packaged under Skipjack. They're the same thing, just marketed differently. You also want to look for tuna that comes out of the U.S. or Asia. And if you look on the back, sometimes it's harder to find than others, but like this one here says product of Ecuador. This one here, product of Thailand. And so just be aware of where it's coming from. Also, you want to avoid white tuna or albacore. They're both the same thing, just marketed differently. And things that come out of Latin America, like the one here that says Ecuador. Going to be worse choice than something coming out of, say, Thailand. And the reason is the white tuna, albacore, or the things coming out of Latin America, they're all going to have about 3 times the mercury level than the chunk light tuna or things that are coming out of the U.S. or the Asian areas of the world. Salmon, mackerel, sardines, also a good choice. They're fatty, bone-in type fish, a little more flavorful, not quite as lean. So they're actually a better choice than tuna, even though the tuna seems to be more readily available in the packaging and stuff like that. A little more nutrients. You're going to find more calcium, omega-3, vitamin D with the salmon, mackerel, and sardines. If you're concerned with this or you want to find out more about the safety of the foil pouch fish or canned fish, I'm going to put a link down below under safety of canned or foil pouch fish. Cheese is another item that may not be as light in a lot of cases, but they are coming out over the last probably 2-3 years. It seems like they've made a lot of progress on different types of cheeses that are easy to take in the backcountry. A couple options would be like the moon cheeses. And they come in multiple flavors. If you've been to Starbucks, you've probably seen these. I already ate these. They're pretty good. That one's the cheddar, Gouda, and pepper jack. They're a little pricey. They're about $6 a bag. And then you've got the wisps. They have these at Costco in a larger bag. You can also get them on Amazon in these smaller bags. And it comes in Asiago pepper jack, Parmesan cheese, and cheddar cheese crisp. These are really good. They're little thin wafer-like baked cheese crisps. They're really good. They're kind of pricey too. Those are all $6 a bag. At Costco, it's $15 for a big giant bag, and they had them on sale for $9 for that giant bag. The bag lasts quite a while. But if you go to Trader Joe's, they have this for $2.50. Cheese bites. This is a Parmesan cheese type thing. It's a little thicker than the other ones, but they're really good. And Walmart also sells one, which I ate, but it's they have it next to the salad dressing, and it's very similar to the wisps, except for it's only $2.50 for a bag about this size. And so those are all good options for cheese, and you can get them fairly inexpensive if you go to Trader Joe's or Walmart. Yeah, you've also probably seen the little mini rounds that are sealed in wax. They're safe to take on the trail. They don't need to be refrigerated, but you do want to keep in consideration the time and the temperature. Most places that I do backpack in the summer, at certain times it's going to be kind of hot, and I don't feel safe going more than a couple days with those types of cheeses. Better choice for cheeses would be more of a firm cheese or aged cheese, which has a lower moisture content, like cheddars, parmesans, things like that. They're also still going to be susceptible to time and temperature. I'm going to put a link down below titled Backpacking with Cheese, and it's a pretty good article on the different types of cheeses and what to look out for. And, so I think if you want a little more in depth on that. Otherwise, if you don't want to think about it at all, just grab one of these options, and these provide nothing. They're nothing but cheese, but they're just processed different to where they've taken the moisture out of them using one method or another, and they're all very tasty. And a category that I've titled Nuts and Stuff, just because I didn't know what else to call it. But you got things like olives, and again, a lot of these don't provide a lot, but they do give you a little variety. Most of them don't have any fat content at all. Olives, I love these. They're kind of pricey if you get them from REI. That was the first place I saw them. You can get them on Amazon, but they're not much of a savings there either. I found them at Whole Foods or Sprouts, I don't remember which one, for $1.29. So I bought them. I figured they were worth a try at that price. They got flavors like basil, garlic, lemon, rosemary. And there's probably only about 8 or so in here. And they're pitted, so you don't have to worry about that. At Trader Joe's, you can get quite a bit more. These are not pitted. They cost less, but the problem is you got to worry about the pits. Most people would probably just spit them out, but with the whole leave no trace issue, these you'd probably want to pack out, just because if you don't, you're probably going to be planting olive trees all over the place. So take that into consideration. Also, pickles. These are another probably first day type item, just because they are a little heavier. But they're dill pickles, no sugar added, and so I think that's a good option again for maybe first day. And then you got a bunch of different type of nuts. I like the roasted salted blue diamond nuts. They don't have any added sugar. They taste good. Whole cashews. All these you want to look, because a lot of times these things will have a sugar coating of some kind. None of these do. The dry roasted with sea salt, fresh from Hawaii macadamia nuts. These are delicious, but they're kind of pricey. That's a $6 bag. These I got on sale for $3 for 2, and they're the same cashews as these. They're just in a little smaller pack. I thought that was a pretty good pretty good deal and handy. But yeah, nuts are a great option. Also walnuts and pecans due to their high fat content. Also peanut butters. And again, you'll want to be careful with that because you do have these like little travel-sized peanut butters that are delicious. This one's actually chocolate silk. They also have some that are not chocolate. Both cases, I think they're 2 to 3 grams of sugar. So I would avoid those. You can get these, like Justin's peanut butter, Justin's almond butter. The classic versions don't have any sugar in them. They do have some that have honey, and so you'll just want to read. But the classic peanut butter and almond has no sugar. Then I got these Nutzo to go. And I thought this was pretty cool. This one's a Power Fuel, and it's got cashews, almonds, hazelnut, Brazil nuts, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds, and flax seeds. And it tastes pretty good, and it sounds like it's good for you. No sugar added. And I was so excited. I saw this one. Oh, Chocolate Peanut Pro. And it's got about the same thing, but it's also got chocolate and cane sugar. And I didn't notice that because, as you can see, I can't see that well. But I don't like any kind of sugar, whether it's cane sugar or what, and so I'll be avoiding that one. This is my favorite by far, the Artisana Organic Raw Cashew Nut Butter. And this one's incredible. It's also priced crazy. This is $2 for a pack. But this will be like a treat that I will take. It's incredible as far as the flavor, the texture and everything is really good. I've tried other cashew butters that are less expensive, and they're good, but they're not as good as those. And that's worth a try, just so you know what's out there as far as cashew butters. But that's a good option. Okay, so like I was mentioning earlier, a lot of the stuff that we have is low in fat, and so you'd want to add some type of healthy fats or oils. When you're considering oils, you want to take into consideration storage, just due to the leakage. Most places you'll be at a temperature that'll, even if it's solid at home, it may be liquid, like coconut oil tends to be liquid when it gets a little warm. Also, you want to take into consideration the melting temperature for both leakage as well as cold usability. In the winter, if you're out backpacking, coconut oil, for example, is going to be in a solid state. So you'll just want to make sure you have a method for heating that up slightly so it's not in that state if that's how you want to use it. Or if you're just eating it raw, I guess you could eat it in a solid state. Also, some of the more user-friendly is you can get individual packets of things like butter, ghee. You can get single packets of coconut oil. I happen to have the ones that are from Trader Joe's, although I got them on Amazon. But they're just little packets, individually sealed, with a serving of coconut oil. If you don't like coconut oil, the MCT oils don't taste like coconut. These are actually a little more mild than most coconut oils. Also, olive oils you can get in the individual packets. You can get them, a lot of them are at Amazon. You can also, if you go to Minimus, that's a good place to look for them. And also tallow. I'm not that familiar with tallow, but I kept running across it when I was doing research on different things you might be able to use. It's solid at room temperature, and it's a rendered form of beef or mutton fat, processed from suet. So it's an option. At some point, I don't know, maybe I'll figure out what that is. But yeah, so that's it. I hope that was somewhat interesting or helpful to a certain degree. I hope I provided some different options you hadn't thought of or didn't know that you could get in certain quantities or something. If it was useful or interesting or anything, please subscribe, hit the like button, and as always, have fun.